after a long day, like a good wine without rosé. Like a quick fuck, and that's okay. We're three friends, we got shit to say. We're three friends doing it our way. We're two girls, one boy.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to our 6th episode of Two Girls.
You're about to get
Coming at
bucked
ya.
up. That's a catchphrase I'm working
We
on.
are so glad that you've returned to listen to more of our shit to say, and we're very excited to have more things to say to you. So
I got a big mouth.
and you got a lot to say. We all do. So, just as a reminder, we love all you listeners, and we love to hear feedback from you. So, if you have a topic idea for an upcoming episode, or you just like to give us some feedback, some comments, critiques, whatever you'd like, please hit us up on any of our social media platforms. You can email us, or on YouTube, same handle, 2 Girls 1 Buck Podcast, and that's the number 2, the word girls, the number 1, the word buck. And podcast.
It's a lot of words.
So if you want to control our mouths, hop on the Instagram or the interweb and
Yes.
send us a direct message.
Where there's a will, there's a way. You will find us. Let us know what you think. Give us some feedback. We are looking for upcoming episode ideas and also sponsors. So if you'd like us to sponsor your shit, hit us up.
Also, if you want to Venmo me personally, like $40, that'd be really cool. They have to pay for that.
If you'd like to get exclusive access
Exclusive.
to our OnlyFans.
To our Venmos.
Please email us.
Awesome.
All right. So we're so excited to be recording episode 6 of season 1. We're super excited because we're in a closet right now.
Legit.
So we heard a lot of feedback about our
big
audio.
closet.
A very
Huge.
large and in charge
Enormous.
closet.
It's
filled
huge.
with fabulous clothes.
What is up with men
It
and
is
hugeness?
huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
You could fit 16 Puerto
Ty's
Ricans
got
in here.
the biggest closet of them all. Of all the closets, his is the biggest.
Way bigger than China.
There is literally,
China's got
Way
nothing
bigger
on
than
this
China.
closet.
there is literally so much gold leaf in here. It's
Yes.
nuts.
On a super side note, I've been like dating a lot of guys recently that are Trump supporters, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Well,
They're
it's Orange
still
County.
supporting? You realize he lost, right? Like, have we moved on yet?
Yeah, like it's really weird that recently, I would say the majority of the guys that I've been going on dates with are Trump supporters, or like I should say they voted for Trump.
Ooh, Trumpets.
The Trumpettes.
They're trumpets.
The Trumpets.
Trumpeteers.
100%. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
And do they tell you why? Like, what is it about Trump that they're supporting still?
Well, they're definitely not going to say why they really voted for him, right? I mean, look at me. But they all say it has like financial reasons and tax reasons, which I don't
That's what
get.
they all
Like,
say.
I'm in a higher tax bracket, and he hasn't helped me with shit. So I just don't.
And he also claimed bankruptcy, like, how many times? So, like, can we really...
I
push
don't know.
that
I don't
man?
think it's great to shit on people for what they think. I think that
Oh, I did shit on them and they
everybody's
paid.
You go, girl, you go.
Ooh, an entrepreneur. She
Just a
bet
little poo play.
I did shit on them. They
you
wanted
better
it.
Love
you better
it, love it,
1099
love
that.
I wrote it off.
Well, the
I wrote it off.
IRS is gonna come for you, mamas.
Oh, they will be coming.
Oh, shut up. They don't know where I'm at.
No, they be coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Oh.
Yeah, the IRS is a very sexual branch
Well-
of the government.
It stands for like what? Irritable rash syndrome?
Oh.
Internal Revenue Services.
Oh, is that what it stands for?
Yeah. Oh my god, what did you think it stood for?
That's why I never signed up. No, I'm joking.
Shot.
I don't want that
I
rash.
dodged the draft.
Look,
the
why
IRS
every year
draft.
do you guys want to do this? I don't get it. But yeah, we're in a closet right now. Like we're literally sitting in a very spacious.
This is true. We sound a bit echoey.
Hello.
It's a bit of an
There's a
echo.
bit of an echo. So.
Oh my god! If we ever have any London or UK people listening,
Wow, if we have any London listeners, I think that you're gonna be the concern over us.
they're the one. They're the one.
Yes. Well, it's actually been a while since we've all sat and recorded, so let's do a little catch up.
It has.
Just a little ketchup sauce.
A little mustard,
Yeah,
little
a little
ketchup.
ketchup. How you got?
I'm
how
still
y'all doing?
13.
Oh, you're such a little virginal baby.
My birthday's in 2 years.
Your birthday's actually in 2 weeks.
Gonna
It's
be-
I know it's Thai season.
Oh, Yaya Ty. He's gonna be barely legal.
Oh,
Watch out.
I can't wait to have my first alcohol.
I'm so excited.
I
I'm
wonder
gonna
what
be
it's
First
gonna-
kiss.
I wonder what's gonna
First everything.
I'm gonna be
First
right there.
kiss, first hug.
Yeah, you should get like one of those classic first shots, like Sex on the Beach or
Yeah.
a Scooby snack or something
Like,
like that.
I guess I'll just have an audio shot because you're really gonna
Yeah.
drink. My friend said this was good.
Yeah.
So
My first shot at a bar was actually a redheaded slut, which my friend thought was quite
Fitting.
appropriate. Yes.
very fitting. I was
Very
I was gonna say.
I'm redheaded.
One for one,
Naturally, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
And I'm Korean.
or a
I'm simply
Karak.
Enhanced.
What?
A Karak.
Black Korean.
That's a little too close to home.
Oh no, we got our Karak
Is
here.
that related to the Koran?
Oh no.
Oh, was that what you were saying? I'm not
Yeah, I
Muslim.
was saying
No,
Korean
no.
and black would be Karak.
Yeah, it sounds like crack. Like
Crack.
like you're just
Yeah,
saying
well, I
crack.
just
cocaine.
realized that, so now it's double funny.
He just realized.
I literally was like, oh, I'm saying crack.
Too close. To
She's-
home.
that's not that's not Whitney Houston. Crack is whack.
Crack is
cheap.
whack. I do cocaine.
I don't do crack.
I do cocaine.
I'm too rich for that.
Okay.
And she is.
We don't do any drugs. This is a drug-free zone.
Absolutely not.
But,
Not-
how you been,
until we get to
Ty-Ty?
next week.
You excited for your B-Day?
Yeah, I'm mostly excited because I am.
Gonna get fucked.
I hope so.
I mean, have a lot of fun.
I mean, God willing.
Birthday sex.
if not, I
Birthday
really
sex.
lost my juve,
Mm.
and I rented a whole
you
hotel
said
room
you
to
lost the
myself for
juice.
nothing.
I thought we were sharing a hotel room for your birthday.
No, girl, I told you to get your own.
Yeah.
You're getting a
He
room
wants to
just
get
for yourself?
birthday sex. Do you
Absolutely,
not
I'm an
understand?
adult, and I
Yes.
can do adult
He wants to
things
get
like
that
that.
D.
My favorite
Up
thing
in the
of being a
B.
grown-up at this point is that I don't have to share an
He knows
Airbnb
we'll be
with 42
recording.
people.
He knows if he shares it with we're being
Absolutely. Cece has been waiting for years to
This
put
is
this on her
going
OnlyFans.
straight on
Pornhub.
the Pornhub.
Pornhub.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh,
And we're
hopefully-
hashtagging 2 girls, 1 book.
Well, first of all, I'm a virgin, but I hope it is lucrative, especially for like a virginity video. I heard those
Yes,
go over
yes,
a lot.
yes.
What is
No,
this,
no, no.
Russia? What are you talking
My,
about?
my birthday, the big, oh gosh, I hate to even say it.
Big 2-0.
29. It's my last
Woo!
20s. It's my last
Woo!
20s.
It's your first anniversary of 29.
That's the truth.
Is after
There's one
that.
thing that the infamous K-Dog ever taught me. Is that you never grow older than 29.
Is that your mom? K-Dog?
K-Dog. Old K-Dog.
Love it, love it.
She told me you never grow older than 29. And I agree.
Yeah, in spirit.
30, who's she?
Who's she?
Absolutely
that
bitch?
not. I mean, you're a half step behind me.
That's literally, I can't wait to see how you grace into it because that'll be a clear indicator. Because your life is way more put together than mine. So, like, that would be a clear indicator of how I'm stepping into 29. Am I going to be in jail? Am I going to
Do I fall apart?
Yeah,
Does Ty have a breakdown?
yeah, just little stuff like that. That's
100%.
what's
I
coming
think
to
y'all
mind.
be alright, baby.
It's like when you put on the glass slipper, do you turn into a princess or a crack whore?
For 100%.
It's a toss-up, really. It's a
Honestly,
toss-up,
I
yeah.
hear so many scary things about going into your 30s. I hear like that's immediately when like the lubrication in your joints just seeps out of your piss.
That's 25.
You just sweat it out.
You just sweat out
You know
all
what?
the lubrication.
I have
You're
heard.
just creaking everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess it just
Snap,
depends on
crackle,
where
pop.
you're at. But like leaning into the success that I've had so far,
Mm.
I'm not upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like 27,
Well, how about
28
for
were
you?
definitely much funner than 25 and 26. 100%.
I agree. I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely think that as I've gotten older, I've had more fun, or I've just given a lot less fucks.
I just,
I-
yeah,
that
yeah, and that's what it
100%.
is.
I
You-
don't. I think that's where it comes
You
down
Less
to.
give
fucks
up
are
being a
given,
bitch.
Yeah.
For sure.
You give up being like pissed about
Right.
stupid shit. You're just, oh man.
Yeah.
I
your
just
greatest
don't care
pleasure.
anymore. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Like when
Yeah.
someone
I
tells
don't
me they're
give a
tired, I
fuck.
like scoff.
Yeah.
The
I'm like,
worst is when people younger than you, I'm like, I'm so tired.
Girl.
Shut the
oh
fuck
my
up.
God.
Shut the
Girl.
fuck
Or
up.
you hear them complaining about being in a situation that you know they can get out of it.
My least favorite thing is when somebody's like, oh, I worked 8.5 hours yesterday. I'm like, eat a dick, you piece of shit. Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
That's like me. That's always been me, though. I've never been a fan
Yeah.
of working.
Yeah.
I've never.
Turns out I'm a dog.
Like
Apparently,
an
I'm a
ass.
Jamaican working 3 jobs.
Yeah.
She's a
Are you
Jamaican.
proud of that?
Yeah.
She's
I'm
a
hustling,
Jamaican
baby.
mama.
I'm a hustler, baby.
All right. The only true
Hey,
Jamaican
Jennifer Lopez.
sitting here. This is
It's the laziest
You
of them
guys.
all. I don't know. Are you sure about that? Are you sure you're really Jamaican?
No.
I think I'm one of those albino
Jamaican
Jamaicans.
accent.
Oh my god, you're just like, I'm cringing right now.
I do a great Jamaican
No, you
accent.
don't.
No, man. You're making me crazy.
Okay, let's
Well,
cut this shit
you're
out.
definitely making me sound good.
Let's cut this shit out. I'm done.
Okay.
We're done.
I'm
What
coming
time
out
is
the
it? We
closet.
gotta-
Moving on. Yaya, how was since we did this last?
Yeah, it's been pretty okay. Like, I was sick for like the past
I
Me
think I had a
both,
lot of
baby. I wonder who
people.
gave it to me.
Well, stop sucking on my toes.
I did not feel well last week at all.
Yeah, a lot of people apparently have been getting sick. So
Yeah,
I got
there's-
sick right before me and Cece went to Mexico for oh Lord.
Oh, gracias.
She is half Mexican. For anyone
So I
that's
can do
going to
this.
hear this, she can do that.
Yeah, it's in my blood.
Yeah, she
Speak some Spanish for us, baby.
Yeah.
Arriba, ay,
Oh, she bilingual.
Quesadilla cerveza, please.
no way, no.
But also, quesadilla beer, great.
Yep. That's the
so-
diet of champions. No regrets.
How was the Vallarta?
It was pretty fucking lit in a lot of different ways. It was kind of fucked because I was sick, and at the same time, I wanted to just party my face off, but I had to be an adult as we're talking about creeping up into our 30s and had to work. So the cool thing about going to Mexico was that I was this close, and when I say this close, you guys should see how close my fingernails are. Yeah, I was this close to getting CC a
Allegedly.
man. I was so close. I
Amazing.
tried.
Ooh,
You don't remember the guy in that bar that you thought?
Oh, Jose.
See, oh, now she remembers.
Oh, he's quite handsome. He's alright.
But that
That
didn't
was more
go.
interesting. Give me some tequila.
That's why you wanted his number.
She wants some tequila.
Yeah, I wanted him to give me free shots.
Do you guys want to hear a funny joke real quick? Since we're talking about that, why did the Mexican man push his wife over the bridge?
Maria.
Tequila.
Oh, tequila. Like to kill her.
Tequila.
Like to kill her.
Like to kill her.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you met Jose, but where was Jose B? Okay, no. Everybody, don't cancel me.
Okay. I'm definitely
Don't
cut
cancel
that
me
out.
Okay.
So yeah. Unfortunately, you were sick, and the reason for that
Yeast
is you
infection.
didn't bring a sweater on the freezing airplane, but that's fine.
That is not how colds work.
And honestly, that's not even what happened because I was sick before that even happened.
All right. Anyway,
Isn't she
Also,
so
that's
judgy?
not science.
Yeah, it's so judgy.
You don't get a cold from being cold.
You tell her, Ty.
that's exactly how you get it.
Okay, Dr.
Oh, you did wear a scarf.
Dr. Fucci, whatever that man's name is.
Fauci,
Oh my
Jesus.
God.
He's been on the
Gucci
news.
means like gross.
He's-
Oh, really?
Gucci,
Well,
cochino.
then it fits.
I love that. I'm going to start using that word.
Dr. Fucci.
Gucci
Ooh,
cochino.
that's very Fucci.
I thought that meant fake Gucci.
Okay. Well,
is
if
not
anyone
hot.
would like to know, my week has been great.
Not really.
Cece, now what did you do?
Oh, well, thank you for asking, Ty. Well, I had a blast. I traveled basically 2,000 miles from Mexico to up NorCal.
Norcal, as they
Norcal.
call it.
Yeah, it was hella cool.
Oh, no.
Now I've
Shut up.
acclimated.
No.
You leave this closet.
I was having hella fun.
Ooh, cut this out.
Ooh, she
You'll
was,
get us canceled.
it was hella crazy.
Oh
It
my
was flipping
God.
hella crazy.
Oh my God, stop.
Shout out to Julianne. Her area is hella diverse.
Super,
With
super
cows.
hella freaking
Hella
diverse.
diverse with cows. It's fucking cow town up there.
I had
ain't
a
about to
blast. I
say
went
that.
wine tasting in Napa.
Oh,
I drank
Yeah,
at a
who were those
castle.
people?
Yes.
Friends.
Yeah, it was
Or
I had-
just like strangers she's met on couchsurf.com.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of men I found on the internet, like you guys.
Oh, Craigslist.
Well, those men look like some ugly women. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Some rough ass. Those are some rough ass girl boys.
Rude.
I'm joking.
I actually celebrated with my grandma her 101st
Oh,
birthday.
Jesus Christ, there's nothing more horrifying to me than that.
Oh
She's
my
pretty cool.
God. I
No,
I hope
great
to
for
have
her,
those
but I'm
genes.
truly of the mind that if I fall once after 65, a bullet between my eyes. I'm not about to live.
Can
in
I
a
get that in
nursing home.
writing?
Kill
Because you
me
fall
now.
a lot.
I told my
Does
dad.
this count
I
when you're
told my
drunk or just normal falling? Is
No,
this like
drunk
a drunk
falling
fall?
doesn't count
It doesn't
because
count.
I'm
That's what
gonna
I
be
thought.
there.
Oh, shit,
Because
never
you
mind.
bounce back. I know.
my entire goal is that I have enough retirement to be drunk Every day at 65.
I love that.
Why don't you tell everyone what you mean by that comment?
I had a little bouncy bounce. Down in Mexico.
The older you get, the higher you bounce?
So
Something like that.
Cece decided that it was a great time at like 10 o'clock at night to go take a dip in the ocean.
Yeah, because the ocean was like bath water and it was great.
So,
no regrets.
and I have video
That's
of
like
this.
that's like the East Coast. It's weird.
Really?
No.
Oh.
When we were in Miami last year for my
That's not the
previous
East
birthday.
Coast. That's like the
That
Southeast.
is the East Coast, but still it was
Okay,
hot
we're
as
talking
shit.
about Mexico now.
It's still hot as hell. I thought I jumped in a bath.
But if you go to New York,
love
it's
it.
not going to be cold. I mean, hot.
It'll be
Fucking
less
hot.
hot.
Yep, that to me is the East Coast.
We're on the West Coast. Everything out here is icicles.
And that is true. The Pacific is different from the Atlantic. That is true.
Because our current comes down from
Oh, God.
Antarctica.
Oh, you took oceanography too?
I took a geography class, but true story, I thought it was geology.
Can you?
I thought I was going to be studying rocks, and I didn't.
I took oceanography on accident. I thought it would. No, what did I take? I took something different. I thought I was going to learn about like sea animals, but I just learned a lot about currents.
I took oceanography,
And I was
and
like,
I did learn about sea animals.
I didn't go to school.
I took oceanography at my junior college, and I had no idea what it was.
I can't remember. My friend Nicole took it with me, and she always corrects
Damn,
me.
you just calling everybody's name out. Ain't no
Where's
secrets.
she at? So, how was the vacation spree?
Everything was super fabulous. I was quite exhausted from doing so much traveling, but no regrets, you know.
I bet
How I
traveling really takes it out of me.
Yeah.
I fall apart.
Yeah, and it was just like a whole lot of drinking excessively and like
That'll take it
lack
out
of
of you as well.
sleeping and then just being in different environments every day. So like it was exhilarating but exhausting at the same time. But you know
That's a
what?
lot of
Whatever.
social energy. It's a lot
Yeah,
of emotional
talking.
energy
It's
that
a
you have
lot
to
more,
put out there.
Yeah, I like to like sit at home with my dog and like be quiet. And this was just like where I had to talk a lot and like
You're
engage
such a
with other
bitch.
people.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm very much an introvert.
Lies you tell.
I'm an extroverted introvert.
And that's the reality, is I think of myself the same way. I'm a very loud person, but there's a recharge time that definitely is there, where I have to like be alone so I can think of the main
I told Yaya
things.
when I came home, I was like, I'm not really trying to talk right now. I just want to binge on Bridgerton and Black Summer.
Oh my God, I'm so happy that you brought that up, because that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit before we start diving into your episode. Is Cece had told me that freaking, have you seen Bridgerton? It's a fucking amazing show, first and
It's
foremost.
great.
I've watched
It's
like the
great.
first 4 episodes.
Oh my God, Ty, you have to watch
Like,
it.
it's a literally amazing. And the main fine, sexy ass, what's his name? Reggie.
Simon.
No, in real life.
Oh, okay.
Reggie or whatever,
Duke?
Reginald. He's not going to
Gigas.
be in the next seasons. And
I just
so,
found that out today. I was
You told
heartbroken.
me.
I cried a little.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh
but then I did research on it, and the reason for that being, and not to do a spoiler alert if no one's ever seen it, but you should see it, is that this was based off a series at 1st. So each season is going to be based off one of the kids.
Right.
So it's like not about his fine ass anymore. I thought that was just some bullshit. So that was my bullshit of the day.
Yeah, so each book series is off of the children, and there's like 8 of them, I think, and they actually go alphabetical.
Oh, where they focus on them?
Yeah. Julia Quinn is the author of the series that was adapted to Bridgerton. Yeah, so each book, or now series, is going to be focused on one kid. And so next is Anthony. We just had Daphne.
I don't even care anymore. Like, if that guy's not in it, like, I honestly don't really want to watch it. I'm like, I'm good. This one actually is.
Okay, so well, this week is actually Cece's week.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's my week once again. Welcome.
What are we going to talk about?
Well, I had some ideas, and basically a topic that I find to be interesting, and I thought that we would all have a great discussion about, is the ideas of being a pessimist versus an optimist. So I know there's those are loaded terms, like there's a lot of ideas behind what it means to be a pessimist versus an optimist or whatnot, and so I kind of wanted to explore what each of us thought those terms mean, and also maybe how we identify, and then how those play within our lives. Basically, I mean, my goal in everything is just how can I make my own life better? Live my best
Self-improvement,
life.
self-realization.
Yeah, love it,
Steroids.
love it. Mm-hmm.
Drugs.
Yeah, lots of booze.
We don't have enough money
Booze
for sound
and food
effects.
brings happiness in my life. These are some ideas that I find super interesting, and I just thought it would be a cool discussion. So that is my topic this week: pessimism versus optimism.
Let go.
Woo!
I'm so excited.
All right. First, I'd like to hear what you would define those terms as, because really, a lot of people see them as different definitions or whatnot, and then what you identify as, maybe neither, maybe somewhere in the middle, maybe somewhere in the outskirts.
It's a spectrum, baby.
It's a spectrum, exactly.
Isn't everything.
Yeah, amen.
So, Ty, shall we start with you, baby?
So, I understand that pessimism is more passive. You take the perspective on life that, things are going to happen in spite of my actions, and I have to prepare for the worst possible conclusion.
So Ty is saying that it's being passive, and
so it's being passive. It's understanding that it's kind of like an actualization that everything that you are doing has a cataclysmic end that is feasible, and you're preparing for that. You're going to assume the worst is going to happen, and you're going to base your judgments based off of that.
Yeah, okay.
So it's very limiting in terms of what you do, because you just assume something's going to end poorly. So a lot of times you'll avoid doing that in general. Mm-hmm. And then optimism is kind of like the polar opposite of that, where you believe everything's going to end well, and that taking your risk and doing your things are going to have a positive conclusion. And then there is where I think that I personally lie is in realism. I sit between both of them. Mm-hmm. I understand that everything has great potential, but also could be catastrophic. So I just realize that, like, I'm hoping for the best and preparing for the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're kind of you're seeing both sides, essentially.
Yeah, I see both sides of it. Like,
I see that,
I know
and
this.
I'm going to take a middle ground.
100%. I know this can happen, but I also understand that this bad thing can happen.
Right.
That's kind of where I sit. What about you, Yaya?
I am definitely, like, if there was like a spectrum, I would say I lean more towards optimism than I would pessimism. I would like to think that I'm a realist, but the way that I live my life, I'm definitely an optimist. I definitely am like, he'll all fall
100%
where it may be. Mm-hmm. And look at me now, bitches.
Can you kind of give your definition of those terms, though? Like, what you mean by being an optimist or a pessimist?
Yeah, so, like, for me, what I would think that a pessimist is someone that is just a negative outlook on life.
Stink ass.
Yeah.
Stink ass.
Sorry.
Yes, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. They have, like, a really hard view on life. They're not very, like, jovial. They're more black and white. There's no
negative
real gray area. Well, just like black and white. Like, there's no gray area for them in the sense of there's no option for error. There's no option for other things to happen. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. Like, there's no growing room. Where, like, I feel like an optimist has no structure. Like, a true optimist has...
Almost like a dreamer.
100%. Yeah, like,
she's a dreamer.
What was that?
The Beatles.
Oh, sorry, black. So
you don't know music?
So yeah, I think like an optimist is just someone that has no structure. They have no foundation. They're kind of just floating through life.
Right.
Which is kind of like, I feel like on the spectrum,
you're a little more towards that one.
Yeah.
Love it.
100%.
Great. Cool. Excellent. Yeah, so for me, basically, between the two, if you get the idea of the glass half full, half empty, an optimist is going to see half full, pessimist half empty.
But is there ice cubes? Do we ever talk about that?
Yeah.
I'm not drinking warm water.
Who's drinking it? Yeah. Like,
she drinks lukewarm water. I drink lukewarm water.
I don't like lukewarm
I drink,
water.
like, room temperature water.
Ain't that the same thing?
Well, if you drink really cold water, it messes up with your chi.
Don't believe in that, so...
Yeah, your digestive
So my chi is probably good. Burn more calories drinking cold water.
Yeah, I believe it because your stomach's working harder.
You have to heat it up.
Yeah, I believe it.
To lose weight.
When you drink cold water, your body has to heat it up for you to process
it. I don't like the feeling of cold water in my esophagus and my throat.
I cannot. If I'm gonna drink water,
I can't.
If I'm gonna drink water,
I can't drink like warm alcohol. That's
yeah. No, absolutely not.
I mean, I will.
Yeah,
we've all been there.
I will.
That's all that we got. But if we got a chilled bottle, I'm gonna go ahead and lean towards that one.
Of course. Going back to this idea, so pessimist is someone who is basically, like you said, Ty, expecting the worst scenario. So when you see a new situation, you're going to do like a worst case scenario assessment and kind of prepare for that. Whereas an optimist is going to be a little more of a hope for the best, imagine the best case scenario, obviously. So the topic of pessimism versus optimism I found very interesting because a lot of people subscribe to one versus the other, and I think
can I ask why you picked it?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because I find myself kind of torn in between the two titles, and what I was going to say is that a lot of people oftentimes subscribe to these ideas, but they believe them to be blanketed terms, where they're just like, I'm a pessimist, I'm an optimist,
more
this
black
and that.
and white.
Right, which obviously nothing in life is that way.
I mean, honestly, like, you hang out with way better people than I do. I don't have nobody come up to me wondering, like, oh my god, am I a pessimist or an optimist? They like, oh my god, did I brush my teeth
Is this
today?
cocaine?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No, that's baby powder.
But it is something that people should be aware of, I guess, right?
Well, the reason I find it interesting is that studies show that your point of view towards life events really affects your life, so much so that it can affect your mortality rate.
Really?
You know
Yes.
what is so funny is that I also think that your previous experiences determine what you
Yes.
end up to be.
Yes. And that's 100% true. And so this is one thing I really wanted to bring up.
Ooh, I'm
is that
interested.
the idea of being a pessimist or optimist, a lot of people think it's inherent, that like you're born this way.
I think that-
Is it genetic or is it
But
environment?
it's actually not.
I do believe in luck. I also have an understanding of it. I read an article and it was specifically about luck and how lucky people who believe that they are lucky are
Tend to be
actually
more
more
lucky.
lucky because they take more risks.
That's fascinating.
I believe that I'm lucky.
That's
and I do
fascinating.
take a lot more
You
risk
take a
because
lot
of
more
it.
I
risk
do.
than I do.
also
Yeah.
believe that I'm lucky, and I've won a lot of things.
I believe
I think he means like in the way you move in life though. Like
this is gonna work out.
like I'm gonna park my car in this tow area and like I'm gonna do it because my luck is showing that I'm not gonna get towed.
No, I think that's taking a risk.
That's
I
what
don't
he's
think
saying.
that's
People,
lucky.
that's exactly how he's saying.
I don't consider that luck.
is, well, you think about it, right? If you're a person that takes 50 risks and 30 of them work out, but if you're a person that takes 10 risks, avoids 30 other, and then only 5 work out, you're like, oh, that person must be really lucky.
I mean, me and Cece have a really close friend of ours who is in a relationship with someone that is a complete opposite from them. Like, one person is definitely more of an optimist and the other one is definitely more of a pessimist.
I think that's good, though.
You would think
They
because it
complement
balance.
each
You would think it
other?
would balance each other out, but when it comes to, for example, traveling, it's shown. You know,
I think I fall on a different end of the spectrum than both of you. I definitely believe that you guys are both quite a bit more optimistic
I
than
disagree. I disagree, Ty.
than him. Yeah, you definitely are
I am. 100%.
I'm a what?
more optimist than he is for sure.
I'd like to say
Really?
that I'm
For
in the middle,
sure.
but I definitely lean more towards pessimism.
I was gonna say, look about when we all travel. When we all went to Miami together,
Gives
like
me so much anxiety.
how we were like, it's fine, we'll be okay, we'll figure it out. And he was like, no, we need to have it figured out. But I don't know, is that considered being a pessimist or a hard ass?
It's probably a bit of both. I am very used to the worst possible scenario happening. That's why I was talking about your life builds you into it. But I mean, I guess I'd like to hear more from like Cece and what she thinks about it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so basically, with anything in life, extremes are never good, right? There's no black or white in life. There's always gray area. There's always
Exceptions to
middle
the
ground.
rule.
So really, there's what I found interesting in looking up this topic is that for people to be, whether it be successful or happy or whatnot, fulfilled, there's always this kind of middle ground. And the middle ground tends to be what's called the realism aspect. So there's this idea of being a pessimist versus an optimist. And these are basically kind of extremes, right?
Yeah.
So either a pessimist, you're going to expect the worst case scenario and you're going to prepare for that, which has its pros and cons.
I mean, well, I think that people lean to either side. I know that I definitely personally lean more towards pessimism. Where do you think you lean?
I also lean more towards pessimist, to be honest. I am...
It's all the way into optimism.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'm proud. I'm fucking
No,
proud of
here's
that.
the thing,
I
and
have less stress. My jaw don't hurt. I ain't got no knots up in my body. Like my life is great. I let the wind
Yeah, I
blow.
literally have knots in my jaw. Like
When
I
she
practice
tells me
it.
that,
I'm
when
like,
she tell me that, I didn't even know that was possible.
yeah, I have
grind
in
my
my
teeth.
jaw. I have knots.
I grind my teeth.
I clench. I
Remember
clench.
you you told me,
I'm stressed.
Stacey, that you lay down, like most people when they lay down, they're probably like going on social media. You lay down and make lists.
Well, what I do is, if I can't sleep, I talk to the machine that I have in my room, which is called Amazon, and I say, "Hey, Amazon."
It's an Alexa for everyone.
I say,
I was
"Hey,
like,
Am-"
oh my god,
It's an Alexa.
she's rich as hell. She got a list robot.
So when I'm laying there, I think of the things that I need to do, the things that I didn't accomplish that day, the
And it
things that
gives
I
you crippling anxiety.
And then, so I lay there and I say, "Hey, Amazon, set a reminder tomorrow morning to do X, Y, and Z. And hey, Amazon, do this and this and this." I literally lay there thinking about the things that I didn't accomplish and that I need to accomplish.
And I do the complete opposite. I'm like laying in bed and I'm like, let bygones be bygones. Let go and let God. You can't do nothing about it now. You'll figure it out when you open your eyes, if God's willing. Like, isn't that considered an optimist?
Yeah.
Or is that a version?
No, that's definitely
Is that
like
a shade?
It's definitely like things will work out. I will say
What?
this.
Wait, I'm
have
sorry. Excuse me. Hold on. Sorry. What do you think it is?
I think that's maybe like
Delusional.
Like just Well, here's the thing. Okay, that's very interesting that Ty says that, because a lot of optimists, the idea of being an optimist tends to be a little detached from reality.
Okay, fuck both of y'all, okay? Because
Okay,
I don't
first-
make
first-
lists in my sleep, I'm fucking delusional.
Well, no, you're detached from reality in the sense that, like, if I'm not going to put any effort in, but I believe the best will come.
I can't put any effort if I'm sleeping in bed. Like, there's nothing I can do about it in that moment. So what I'm saying is, I'm not
But when
preparing.
you're thinking about your day, you're not like, this is what I have
I
to
do
do
not-
tomorrow
You're like, oh, I
to
didn't
make
do it.
sure that
It'll
these
all work
things
out for
don't
the
happen.
best.
And it always does.
But you
Does
don't
it,
think
though?
about it. You
Yeah.
don't think, like, these are the steps that I need to make in the next
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm thinking about, like, okay, I did X, Y, and Z today, but I didn't do A, B, and C.
I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade, but since y'all threw shade at me, I feel like I'm the most successful in my career. I feel like I have the most put together when it comes to the next steps in my life. Just because I'm not sitting here
In terms of
overly
what?
planning.
I disagree.
And of course you two were. Like, overly planning my next steps.
Rude.
Well, you just said I'm delusional because I lay there and
I'm
I
not
said,
speaking about you specifically. I'm saying that people who tend to be more optimists tend to be a little more detached from reality.
I agree.
And
No, I
I agree
agree.
with that.
And
I agree.
this tends to lead to a lot more disappointment, is what studies have said.
Well, fuck their studies, because the way I feel about it is that, and I think this is also healthy to say out there for our listeners to know, you've accomplished all that you've accomplished in that day, and it's okay to put some things to rest and then pick it back up when you wake
And
up.
it's not saying
Is-
that I don't do
Is
that.
that healthy? 100%.
No,
Yeah.
I do that.
How many people listening right now do that? I don't think a lot of people do.
Oh, please write us some comments so that we can
I don't
hear.
I
We
don't
would
think
love
a lot
to
of
hear
people
your
do.
feedback. Please give us some feedback. We are in a debate here, and we would love to hear our listeners'
quandary.
feedback. Please email, hit us up on Instagram, DM, Twitter, YouTube.
Think of like that Yaya
Please-
bitch crazy.
yeah. Please
Well, I
let
mean-
us know. No, we would really love to hear what you think, because we're literally in a debate at this point.
I do get it from both sides, because I have pushed myself a lot over the years, and I was always very goal oriented. I have to do this. This is the steps. These are the maneuvers. These are the exact things you have to do. And I didn't end up anywhere where I wanted to be based off of that. And I took a risk. I was a little bit more optimistic, and things changed for me pretty drastically about 3 years ago, and I'm happy
Interesting.
about that decision, and it's pushed me to make more risky decisions based
Yeah.
by my own analysis.
Welcome
Maybe-
to the dark side,
I
nigga.
love that. I love that. I love that.
you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
pushed me to be more risky on my own end to the
Yeah.
point where it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that is
Let's
a
not talk shit
great
about the optimist.
perspective. I'm not here to talk shit about optimism whatsoever. Okay,
Mhm.
so let me just be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Amen.
so take it as you may. That's not my intention whatsoever. Basically, the ideal is that you're not so much in the extreme, but you're more in the middle, and the middle is a realist perspective. And so there's realist optimism, and there's realist pessimism.
Yeah, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yes, and that's a great saying. So the basic bottom line that I was going with is, obviously, in all things in life, extremes are not good. So
Less is okay.
Unless it's cocaine.
unless it's cocaine.
You've been
Yeah.
pushing a lot of cocaine this
Yeah.
episode.
Did
You want to tell
have
me
some
something?
cocaine?
I don't want to do it, I just want to sell it.
Oh, I can help you.
No, I don't want to do any of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. No, I can't.
Okay. sorry.
So, the bottom line really is being a realist. And a realist just basically means that you are considering both of the scenarios and seeing that it could be one way or another. And yes, you could prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is that you're not necessarily always in this negative mindset, which sets you up for a reoccurring cycle.
Yeah.
Where you believe things will be wrong. And then because you believe them, a lot of times
your life around it.
Exactly.
But both can be the same, right?
That's what I'm getting. I mean, you cater your life to that, and then things end up negative, and vice versa. When you're a positive,
it's very like manic,
optimist person, rather, you hope for the best and wish for the best. But then sometimes when things don't work out that way, people can find themselves in really deep depressive states because they believed that things would be so perfect and so great, and then when they find that they weren't, because that's life, then they find themselves really horrible.
I mean, yeah, I
feelings.
think that kind of like circles back around to my point earlier, is that your upbringing really kind of facilitates
it's a learned behavior.
Well, you were saying like your past life dictates that, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things. I think that the way that you were raised or how you do things is, I mean, a lot of what you do and how you do it is dictated by what you experience. And if you
100%.
have an experience of disappointment, you get to the point where you accept it and you move forward with your life being like, I'm going to be disappointed constantly, and that's it.
So the great thing about optimism versus pessimism is that it is learned and it can be changed. And so that's a great thing that I loved about this topic, is that even though you might identify as a certain aspect, which I find myself identifying as oftentimes more of a pessimist, but it's the idea that like you can learn to change that viewpoint, and there's actually quite a few things that can help you change.
You know what I started doing, and this sounds so cliche.
Dick.
Mantras.
Dick.
Mantras are great.
Mantras are like great. Phrases. I know that sounds awful. Phrases of power.
I love it.
But there are things like every night before I go to bed, I'll be like, tomorrow is going to be a better day than today.
I love that.
And you're going to do better, and you're not going to feel bad about it. And then I move on to the next day, and I hope that's the truth, and I say it as I drive to work.
So I did find...
You sound like a crazy person.
Okay.
It's true, though. Today
will be better. Today will be better.
You know what? It's true, though.
We both have worked in sales for years, and you know that you can sell something when you're happy, and you cannot sell anything when you're upset.
Unless you're a boss.
So there are a few things that I found, some things that I wanted to share about changing your perspective. Not that everyone needs to be optimistic per se,
I love
but
changing. By the way.
Yeah, love it. So one of them is changing your expectations. If you expect bad things, a lot of times you're going to find those.
Life is dictated by perspective.
Well, let's start with a joke. Okay. So
3 whores on a log.
Sounds like our podcast.
We're talking about a pessimist versus an optimist, right? So
who's going to win the lottery?
A pessimist sees a dark tunnel. An optimist sees a light at the end of the tunnel. A realist sees a freight train. A train driver sees 3 idiots on the tracks.
I don't get it.
Okay, what?
I don't get it. I'm sorry. Can you say it again?
I'll say it again. A pessimist sees a dark tunnel. So there's one person standing out. He sees a dark tunnel.
Got it.
An optimist sees a light at the end of the tunnel. That's the second person standing on the track.
I got it.
A third person, a realist, sees a freight train. That's the real situation. The train driver sees 3 idiots on the tracks.
Got it. Is that supposed to be a joke?
Do you actually get it?
Funny. It's pretty funny.
No, I do get it.
I don't think she actually gets it.
I do get it.
You know what's funny is that when you said that, my first thought was, a way out.
What?
An escape.
No, I'm lost.
Okay.
I don't know what that category is.
Lao Tzu said, if you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you are anxious, you're living in the future. If you are at peace, you're living in the present.
The turtle in Kung Fu Panda said,
I did say it.
The past is history, the future is a mystery, and the present is a gift. So cherish it. And I think that's really taking the medium between all 3 perspectives, because I think that realists, as much as they'd like to really lean toward pessimism, because it's more realistic. You aren't always going to be lucky.
Yeah. And so basically the idea here is perspectives, okay? It's not about right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just about the way you see things. And it's very interesting to me because there's been a lot of studies about perspectives and like lifespans and things like that and quality of life. And I'm highly interested in those things. And so,
live forever?
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, my grandma just turned 101. I'd like to live as long as possible.
Oh,
but
kill me at 75.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
get me,
fall
yeah.
and you're not drunk, we're going to shoot you.
Yeah.
It's what you asked us to do. So.
After 65, if I fall,
if
kill
you
me
fall, like, we're
Honestly,
going to shoot you
I
like
don't
a lame
wanna-
dog.
dead. I'm not trying to sit no nurse. I mean, they do fuck like crazy up in there.
They
Yeah,
do.
there's a lot of STDs happening out, but they're...
They do.
300% increase over the last 20
Mhm.
years. Isn't that nuts?
Isn't
Good for them.
that something to look forward to, though?
Lao Tzu is an
I'm an
ancient
optimist.
Chinese philosopher and writer who made the Tao Te Ching. He said, if you're depressed or living in the past...
What was that you just did when you said that word?
The
Did you just close your
Tao
eyes and
Te
bow?
Ching? Tao Te Ching?
You just closed your eyes and bowed.
No, I didn't.
Ta
actually.
ta ta.
He created Taoism.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I know Taoism.
I know that word.
Did you take a philosophy class? Or
No.
I have a
religions
minor.
class?
I have an associate's degree in philosophy.
I read a
I actually have a minor in philosophy as well.
Queen.
Look at us. Because here's another thing, is that living in the past versus the present versus the future. I mean, where do you all see your mindset? I find myself highly guilty of living in the past and the future. And that is not necessarily a healthy way to live.
See,
It causes a lot of anxiety and a lot of regret. And I know that.
for you.
For me.
Yeah.
And in general, living in the past, or like where you think of like, oh, I could have said this or this could have happened, that's a lot of regret. And then anticipating future things, which I do a lot, causes a lot of anxiety. It's like, oh, well, what if this happens and what if that happens and how can I
don't
Yeah.
think that I live in the past as much as I used to. I think that I've kind of come to terms with the past. I think that the thing that affects me most is the future. I'm more concerned about where I'm going than where I've been. In my mind, I'm like, I already did that. And everything that happened, in exception to the, this exact second, is unchangeable. So I have to move forward.
I completely agree. I heavily lived in the past in my early 20s. Like, heavily. Like,
It's hard not to.
It was the excuse for all of my behavior. It was the excuse for why people treated me the way they did. It was the excuse for why I was living the way I was living.
I didn't have what I wanted, or why I wasn't doing what I was doing is because of this.
And now I'm way more in the present, and that's more maybe the optimist in me. But I don't really.
In the present.
I never really had to. I mean, of course,
the ideal goal is for all of us to live in the present,
Well,
to be
cool.
present in each moment.
Impossible.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like what I do. Of course, I think of tomorrow, but I don't hold heavily on what happens tomorrow. Because in my mind, I am a big believer of everything happens for a reason. And if you are that type of person, then you also have to believe in the fact that everything has already happened to some extent, of course, right? So I definitely live completely in the present. I do things that make me feel good now. I don't really look towards what could happen in the future. For me, in the past, I hyper focus on it in a sense. Like, if I start thinking about the future too much, I will never hit those expectations. And then it just gives me this weird fucking slimy feeling. So I'm like, instead of me worrying about tomorrow, why don't I just kill tomorrow when I'm in the tomorrow? Is that bad?
No. And I think that people function differently. I am a person that will heavily focus on the future and decide what I need to do.
Has everything always lined up, though? That, like, everything that you planned out, it lined up?
I think there's a certain
not the way that I thought.
See? Let go.
Not the way that I thought, but I did end up where I wanted to be.
But
so the end goal. So the
journey
wasn't there, but it was the end goal was always there. See, I'm the same way. I know I'll get there. I just don't know exactly how I will.
For me, there's a certain extent that I do plan for the future because I want to make the future easier for myself. Mm-hmm. So I try to do things here in the now that I'm like, okay, in the future, I'm going to need to do X, Y, and Z. So let me do X now so that it'll be easier for me in the future. I try to think ahead in a lot of cases, and I think that has worked for me in a lot of senses.
I think that for me, a lot of it is I'm terrified of losing what I have. So I'm thinking of ways to protect it.
So you're thinking of the past then in a little bit.
No, I'm not thinking.
I mean, you must have lost something to make you hold on to it like a squirrel with its nuts.
I think that from my perspective, the way that I handle things is that I have to be aware and cognizant of what's going to happen so that I can have some form of control over it. Probably does have to do a lot with my previous experiences. But I realized that when I focused less on the past and more on the future and how in the different ways and different options I had to get to where I wanted to go that were non-traditional to what I thought I needed to do, that's when I saw any success.
On that note, let's name which celebrity do you think is a pessimist or an optimist? No, I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Louis C.K.
I love
Optimist.
He's a pessimist.
He's like, I can twerk this dick off in front of girls and they would not care.
All of his jokes are like, I'm suicidal. It's like, oh, we get it. We've seen you. We've seen a picture.
Oh, Lord, it's getting hot in this closet.
Hot tamale.
So to wrap up, basically the idea is to not necessarily be one-sided. Mm-hmm. If you find yourself being one or the other, an optimist or a pessimist, try to instead find the middle ground and being more of a realist. Like, realistically, what's going to happen? And yes, you can be optimistic about those realistic expectations. And you can also sometimes be a little bit pessimist about those expectations.
Is Cece getting a little drunk over there?
Hey, man.
It's the light from your closet and the warm alcohol.
I know. I don't know why they put a heat lamp in here. I agree with what Cece is saying. I think that it is important to be aware of the potential future outcomes, but not dwell on it.
The funny thing is that a lot of people pick sides, but really finding that middle ground and understanding what realism is. And I know we haven't really touched base so much on it now, but realism is understanding kind of a middle ground of positivity and negativity. Is that okay, sometimes things will work out, but sometimes they won't.
Amen. And
then not only coming to terms with that, understanding that that's the case, but also embracing it. That okay, I hope for the best, right? Mm-hmm. But realistically, this might be the case. And so in the spectrum of positivity versus pessimism, there is this realism aspect. So there's this idea of a realist pessimist and a realist optimist.
I think that it is important to be grounded in reality in all things.
Of course.
I think that it is, but I think...
But who determines that reality?
I think that success relies heavily on you believing that you can do more than you think you're capable of. Well, I just think that if you want to be successful, look to the future, but don't live in the past. You know? And that's harder said than done. But once you reach that point, you realize that life's a lot easier.
I mean, I'm just gonna, throw my two little coins on this and say, let go, let God. It's nothing wrong with where you've came from. And always consider what can happen tomorrow.
And don't worry about where you've been. Don't worry about where you're going. Pay attention to the journey.
Is that a Dolly Parton song?
I wish it was. I love her.
Parton.
Me too.
She's great.
Well, not to be pessimistic, but I think we should let these poor listeners go.
Is this your ending? Is this the wrap up? Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to our 6th episode of Two Girls, One Buck. We're so happy to have you here listening. And please tell your friends, spread the word. Two Girls, One Buck. Follow us on all the social medias, all of them. Find us. And if you have anything you'd like to tell us, you want to say anything, email us at twogirlsonebuckpodcast@gmail.com or at twogirlsonebuckpodcast on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all of it. We are so grateful for all your support and look forward to the next episode.
And I am accepting any applications for a sugar daddy with a boat.
A
sugar daddy with a boat, preferably bisexual.
I'm also accepting.
And is into a flopple, because that's...
A flopple.
Yeah, 3, because there'll be 4 of us.
Yeah,
flopple.
Just a flopple. I mean, honestly, if you got a car, you're in.
I think all 3 of us, yeah. If you are a
you got a car.
You can't keep looking in the past, baby. You gotta look towards the future.
You got you a car and a job. Guess what? Hello.
If you can speak good English.
Well, thank you guys for coming. We will be back next week with a new episode from Yaya, and I'm sure she has an interesting topic for us.
I do.
Ooh.
Bring your bongs and
tell
your crack
your friends,
pipes.
tell your homies, tell your hoes, tell everyone.
Tell all your hoes.
Don't tell the police.
Don't tell the police.
Don't tell
or the
Hide your wife,
IRS.
hide your kids.
But next week, listen in because we've got some drama.
We love you all so much.